play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But it gave my mom and me more time to plan, together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. as Lincoln Lighthouse's Executive Director Bill Mitchner educates listeners on the history of Lighthouse, their mission, and how you can get involved in shaping today's youth into tomorrow's adults. Every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, good morning. Happy Sunday. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, this is What's Next 24. You guys can join in at 402-464-5685. That is the Sergeant Heyman text line. As always, as well as you can join the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961. Got a couple of guests in studio this morning. And as always, throw it to the host, Mike and Sherry.
Well, good morning, everyone. You're tuned in to What's Next on 93.7 The Ticket. We're broadcasting live from 1040 O Street in Lincoln. We're so excited about it. We have a very special show here today where we're going to talk about a lot of issues. Sherry, I'd like to turn it over to you. Why don't you introduce our special guest today?
Thank you, Michael. And good morning, Harrison.
Morning.
Our special guests today are Christy and JC Massie. They have a story like no other. It's a modern-day love story born from unimaginable pain and struggle. Through heartache, addiction, loss, they found not only hope, but they also found each other. Once broken by life's hardships, Christy and JC chose to rise above, guided by God's grace and their newfound love. Together, they've built a life filled with purpose, passion, and unremarkable faith. Their journey is one of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light can shine through. And that is so important, you guys. Whether you're facing your own challenges or seeking inspiration, their story will move you to believe in second chances and the amazing power of love. Through suffering, they found love. Through love, they found healing. And we welcome you guys. Christy and JC, we are so excited to have you guys here.
How are you? We got to give Christy a quick special shout out. She's been up all night as she's an emergency room nurse at Brian East. So we thank you for your special effort this morning.
Yes, good morning.
Were you busy last night, by the way?
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. My goodness. Okay. We'll talk into that too. JC, I know you've been here before. How you doing, buddy?
Good to be back. Thank you guys for having us on here.
Oh, you bet. We're glad to have you back. And,
shoot, one more time, you can have your own show.
Yeah, yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Why don't we jump in, JC? Let's start with you again. As we talked about this, I've gotten to know you a little bit and the things that you've done, and I know how passionate you are about life and working out and the things that you do in life. But let's talk about the early years. Tell us again, where are you from and your early beginnings?
I was born in Plainview, Nebraska, small town in northeast Nebraska. My mom and dad at that time, we lived there until my parents got divorced when I was roughly 4 or 5 years old. My mom and I moved to Norfolk. Dad stayed in Plainview. And from that time until end of third grade, we lived in Norfolk before we moved to Lincoln.
And then how about Christy? How about you? You're a Kansas native.
I am. I was born and mostly raised in Wichita, Kansas. When I was about
13, my dad got remarried and we moved to Olathe, Kansas, where I was at till a little after high school.
Well, when we were talking last night, and I got to speak to both of you last night. It was really interesting and passionate to hear about your stories and struggles and just things that happen to life. And it happens to so many people in this world, but we never really get together as a community and talk about them and work towards solutions and things. Both of you have faced incredible challenges early in your life. Could each of you give us a little overview of some of the struggles that you started? JC, let's start with you.
One of the biggest struggles I noticed early on before life had life problems for me was just a couple times of transferring schools, kind of getting picked up and moved from Norfolk to Lincoln. Started off at Pershing Elementary, went to Mickle for a year. My parents moved across town and then I went to East. So trying to find a whole new group of friends and social network in 8th grade was a little bit tough when all of those kids in the East area had been together since they were young. So trying to start to fit in somewhere in 8th grade wasn't the easiest thing to do.
Oh yeah. Christy, how about you?
Well, my parents got divorced when I was 3 or 4. And that time we were living in Connecticut. So my dad moved my brother and I back to Kansas. And then we went to the same Catholic school all the way up till 6th grade. And then in 6th grade, we moved to Olathe. Well, when I started 7th grade, we moved to Olathe. Started out at public schools. So that was a big shock, a big change as well as, making new friends and getting into experiencing the public school life versus private school.
Well, Chris, talk about a little bit. You shared with me you're growing up and there's some issues and I understand, right? Your mother was not around. Is that correct? Growing up?
She was, but she wasn't. Does that kind of make
right? Yeah. Well, share a little bit about you. Went kind of down the path where problems at home. You became angry about a lot of things.
Yeah, I blame my mom for a lot of stuff growing up. Not a lot of stuff I'll share, just because it's
sure.
Personal,
no, absolutely.
But, I ended up blaming her for a lot of issues that I had. I had a great dad. He, we took family vacations, all this stuff growing up, but I didn't focus on that. I focused on, the heartache from the issues with my mom. And that kind of spurred me to the decisions I made as 16, 17. Like all those decisions were what can hurt my mom and not how can I show that my dad's done a good job? It was, I'm going to be a rebellious teenager and I'm going to go for it, full forward.
A little bit of revenge.
Yeah.
Well, there's a problem in the world today. You see a lot of anger with children today, young kids. There's a lot of anger. I've seen it sometimes in my own kids. They get angry at things and it's hard to deal with. Share, if you don't mind, just a little bit. So you're a little bit angry, a little bit rebellious, got into some drugs. Is it correct?
I did.
How did that come about? If you could share a little bit, just what was the thought process behind it and why?
I thought if I was hurting, then that would hurt my mom. I don't feel that way now. Obviously, we have a good relationship now, but that was kind of my, if I'm hurting, the worst thing that I can do to hurt her back.
Right.
I never shared that with her. So if she listened to this, Mom, I love you.
Exactly. But, going through that time and anger, of course, then it created some bad choices, or I would say, maybe emotional choices.
Yes.
Went through there, had children at a young age.
Yep. I started hanging out with my best friend in high school. She had a little bit older group of friends. I was 16 when I met my kids' dad. He was 22.
Yeah.
I got pregnant with my son at 17, my second daughter at 18, my third daughter at 19. And at that point, it's like, I'm 19, pregnant with my third kid. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then, so that's when the adoption thought process came.
So you went through a lot early in life. Here's the thing, very early in going through this. It had to be overwhelming. Where did your mindset go at that point? Were you just feeling like it was just piling on, getting deeper and deeper, or?
I kind of froze after I had put my daughter up for adoption. That was a very emotional. I had a lot of regret and angst, and I'd given up on her and I abandoned her, and so dealing with those emotions as well as trying to raise a 1 and 2 year old, And then I'd moved back to Kansas, and we ended up in a homeless shelter for 6 months.
We'll talk about that a little bit. You did tell me that you were homeless for a little bit, shelter. What other issues were you telling me?
I was still, into drugs and stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And then just trying to survival mode, not a lot of memory, from those times.
Well, and that's what I want the audience to hear is that there's, my sister, like I told you, she had a abusive relationship and she turned to alcohol for many years and it eventually killed her. My brother was an alcoholic for many years. It eventually killed him. You could have gone down a darker path, but this is the beautiful part of this. You had a reality check. You had a moment to where you felt you needed to make some changes. Tell us about that.
I was invited to a church service by my cousin. Hadn't been to church in years or thought about it. And so I had agreed to go with her that one Sunday, and it was an eye-opening experience spiritually and emotionally, because it was something I never experienced before, that kind of a church service. And it was kind of a fork in the road. I was scared to make a change. I was scared to have to make new friends and not hang out with my old friends. And I was scared like what my life would look like without the drugs and that kind of a scene.
But what was really wonderful, what I heard you though, I don't know how you did this. You decided to become a nurse.
Several years later, yes.
Yeah, well, but you fought, it's amazing to me, the story though, that was a determination that you determined that you were going to do this and you fought through it. Tell us about this, because you made some choices to really turn this around. Nursing school cannot be easy. And then especially when you've got all these other issues that you've kind of dealing with in the back of your mind, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a strong determination and will to want to make change happen. How'd you go about this?
Well, between turning my life around, I had gotten married and had another child. So I had her when I was 22. So there's 1 year there that I wasn't pregnant. And then her dad and I divorced less than 2 years later. And probably about 2 years after that, I had been approached by a Christian group saying, we want to help single moms overcome poverty. We want to help you show your kids that it's possible.
Wow.
That you don't have to live off of government assistance, that you don't have to be, in this cycle forever, and that you can accomplish things no matter how hard your life has gotten. So they had promised all this money to go back to college. So a bunch of us single moms in the Kansas and Oklahoma area quit our jobs, enrolled in colleges. We only had a few choices of colleges, and it had to be nursing. And so we enrolled and we started, and then the money never came.
Oh my.
So all of us had quit our jobs, enrolled in school. They, had us move houses if the houses we weren't living in, quote unquote, were good enough, like, boys and girls sharing rooms, things like that. So that was kind of another fork in the road for me where I'm like, do I give up or do I keep going? And the university, Newman University, as a private school, came to the moms that were enrolled and said, if you want to keep going, we will work with you with your tuition. So if you want to keep going to school and pursuing this, they basically gave us 50% off.
Wow.
So I said, I'm still going to go. Don't ask me what made me make that choice, because I never in my life thought I would go to college. But then I stuck with it. It took 5 years. I went summer, spring, fall semesters, and
you got through it.
I did.
What was that like? A lot of studying, a lot of sleep. How did you handle the pressure?
I don't, honestly, God, that's all I can say, because I look back and I had 3 kids. I think Nevaeh was 4, and then Bryce and Allison were 6 and 7 when I started. And getting through that, I also worked part-time at the bookstore on campus. Went to school full time, and then had the 3 kids.
That's a full schedule. With the drugs at the time, what were they, and were you addicted at all?
I don't want to say I was addicted, but I was dependent on them. Yeah.
Do you think that's for, like my brother and sister? I think they drank because they used it for coping skills. Coping, the pressure and pain, it took pain away. Would that be the same? Do you think, or what's your thought?
I mean, it was a release from reality.
Yeah. Exactly.
For me, I'd quit doing drugs when I was 21. So this
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
nursing school was a few
Nursing
years
school.
after that.
Christy, let me ask you a quick question. Going back to the issues when you were young that you
Mhm.
had with your mom. Now you find yourself in a situation basically by yourself, dealing with 3 kids, going to school full time, working part time. How did you what was your mindset as far as your children? Were you afraid that they might fall into the same, I don't want to use the word trap, but they might fall into the same feelings of, you know, having, mom doesn't have time for me, mom's too busy for me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and that kind of is what happened. Um, that's how I actually ended up in Nebraska. My kids had decided that their dad had not been around for 10 plus years. And when he did come back around, they're like, "Oh, I have a dad. I want to see what dad is like."
Been there,
And
done that.
my son had said to me, because he's married and his wife is a stay-at-home mom, and my son said, "I want to be somewhere where there's someone that's someone's always going to be there."
Mhm.
So he moved up here to Nebraska, and that's kind of what started this whole path.
Wow.
Yeah. How did you end up in Lincoln?
My son ended up moving up here with his dad.
Mhm.
Um, I was in a bad relationship at the time,
Mhm.
and I needed to get away. So I told my daughter, "You're moving to Nebraska." My youngest one, I was like, "You can stay with your dad in Wichita for a little bit, but then you're moving to Nebraska too." So I come up here on a traveling assignment.
Yeah. And then how'd you end
Wow.
up at Bryan?
I did. I accepted a traveling assignment on a great unit, and I was there for almost a year as a traveler. And then another kind of fork in the road came, and do I stay here? Do I go? What's going to be like with the kids? And I ended up taking a permanent position, and that was in 2017.
Isn't that amazing? Look how things are starting to evolve, starting to
Mhm.
change. JC, don't forget about you. But then you too, though. I know how driven you are and how passionate you are about your firefighting days and working and stuff like. But you fell into an addiction too. Can you express a little bit of what happened and what that was all about?
Sure. I don't really have a pinpoint on when things went from normal or being able to handle things to excessively starting to use alcohol. I can't pick a day. I can't pick a
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
But growing up, my dad was an alcoholic, and he's one of the ones that we'd call like a functioning alcoholic.
Mhm.
Other than I assume the marriages, it didn't really affect a whole lot of his life. Had a very successful career, prominent career in the small town, and then later on when he retired from teaching at the university, um, the drinking was there on his side, and I just had always assumed that I can be just like dad,
Mhm.
And for a lot of years, I let's be honest, I drank like other people did,
Mhm.
and eventually, I stopped drinking like other people and started drinking excessively. And ultimately, through that and some other decisions, that cost me my job at Lincoln Fire.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I, with having to step away from Lincoln Fire, that was really my identity for the past 15 years. Not only working there, but as an explorer before that, my college degrees in fire protection,
Mhm.
paramedic degree. And once I lost my identity, I hadn't the one thing that could, comfort me was alcohol.
Mhm.
And then it skyrocketed and got real bad real fast. And
Because you also spent some time at the city mission. Is this correct?
yeah, probably around right now I want to say it's right about 10 years ago.
Mhm.
My drinking got bad enough I was unable to keep and hold down any decent jobs. I would have decent jobs, but I couldn't perform to the level that I needed to.
Mhm.
And at that time I just didn't care. So ultimately that I burned some bridges with family at the time, and I didn't want to inconvenience friends, so I didn't hit them up too hard. And my choice was to go stay at the city mission as well.
Would you call this your darkest period?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without a doubt, that's probably
Yeah. Because things like when that happened, I remember I didn't have problems with alcohol, but due to stress and disappointment, and I had a lot of loss. I was born in a older family. My mother was 42. My dad was 48 when I was born. My brother was 18 years older. My sister was 13 years older. So when I was growing up, I would see eventually a lot of problems, a lot of death in the family, people passing away. So mine was always the feeling of loss, which pressure. I had to depend on myself, pay the bills, do things, went through a job loss, struggled, cause of stress, depression, and then your mind gets really tight. I can't see further than where my hand is. And so I wasn't making very good choices either. Did you feel the same way where you just couldn't find a way out for a period of time? You know what I mean? You get down so low.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to get back up.
When I was that low, I didn't have a whole lot of hope for the future. I felt like I was helpless because all of the friends I had at that time were excellent friends, and they tried what they knew how to do, to help me change. Unfortunately, for me, it wasn't what I wanted to hear at that time, and none of them had really been and had the experience that I had. So they were doing their best to try to help me, and if I just didn't take any of their advice or their help. I was self-sabotaging to the point where, if I could just, tomorrow was the furthest I was looking ahead for my life, and tomorrow didn't look too great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Were there things that your mind, were you dwelling on? I mean, were you angry about certain things, or just what kind of took you there?
I was just completely empty and lost. I'd spent, my entire high school, the entire 4 years I was in high school, I was an explorer for Lincoln Fire. I interned for them in college. I got hired when I was 20. So my entire identity and everything I thought my future was going to be, I made decisions that cost me that. And so struggling with that was very tough.
Well, tell me how you ended up in the hospital.
This was a couple years later, but my drinking had continued and only gotten worse. When you're an alcoholic like I was, it never gets better. You only increase the amount you intake to get the same effect. And when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona, I ended up getting pancreatitis and being put in the hospital that time for 7 or 8 days in the intensive care unit.
And what effects were you having on your mind and body at that point?
Oh, my mind was restless and stir crazy, but my body, it had started to give up on me from the inside. My pancreas was shutting down, and it was making a lot of my other organ systems extremely, extremely ill and taxed them very heavily.
Because I think what's really interesting is each of you have your own stories and journeys and pain. But I'd like to get to the point. I know we're going to take a break here in just a little bit, but how you guys met.
All right.
Go ahead and share that.
Well, let's see, 2016 or so. Believe it or not, we met on an internet dating app.
A lot of people,
and I will
a lot
claim,
of people do these days.
And I will claim that I was naive to what actually goes on most of those internet apps.
Absolutely. Been there, done that
it
too many
seemed
times.
innocent enough at the time, and believe it or not, that's how we started talking.
But joking aside, I know a lot of people meet that way these days. It used to be you'd meet socially or somewhere. It doesn't seem to always happen that way anymore. So this is kind of the new norm. People do meet that way, but it can be challenging. But what were you searching for? Were you feeling lonely? Were you wanting a friend? Were you looking for? A lot of people are searching for a companion. What was that? Was that kind of the thought process during that time?
I had no idea what I was actually looking for.
Sure.
But I think in the meantime, just another person. I mean, I was yearning for a lot of connection at the time because I'd lost a lot of my friends, I lost a lot of my group, still didn't know who I was. So I was definitely not the best candidate out there.
Christian, what was your reasoning? Because I know from personal experience, it's hard being on a dating app and being a woman because there is so much uck out there.
Yeah. Honestly, I was new to the area and I wasn't interested in a relationship. I wasn't interested in like one night stands either. I was like, maybe if I meet some people, I can get a group of friends around here. And that was kind of my thought.
Right.
Quickly turned out that's not what a lot of the guys want on those apps.
Oh, no, sure.
No,
there's reality in the real world, and there's things that you hope for and want. With that being said, we need to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk how these people got together and turned their life around. We'll be back in just a minute.
wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchased from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an advocate you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you need. Advocates you deserve. That's 877-42-LIBERTY or libertylawnebraska.com.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2. This is What's Next 24 with the host Mike and Sherry, as well as guests Christy and JC today. With that being said, you guys can still join in via the Starter Heyman text line. I'll throw it to the host, Mike and Sherry.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. We're here with Christy and JC. We're having a great discussion regarding their lives and what they've been through. I'd like to take a moment to let you know that Sherry and I did write a book. It's called Next 24, Discover Happiness and True Joy in Your Life While You Create a Legacy. Sherry, where can people find this book?
People can find our book at a couple different places. They can find it on Amazon. They can also find it here in Lincoln at South Point Mall, at Barnes & Noble. And they can also find it if they'd like to order it. I believe they can order it on our website. Is that correct, Mike?
They sure can.
And what is our website, Michael?
You can find that at next24book.com. You'll find that available online.
Hold that book up while you speak so they can see what it looks like.
Yep, we got it right here. If you don't see it, you'll see it at the Barnes & Noble bookstore. You'll see it at the local author section in the store. JC and Christy, last week we had a very good, or 2 weeks ago, we had a very good guest on, Ron Brown, the one of the coaches of the University of Nebraska. And he's very strong in his faith. And we sat down for 3 hours and talked to Ron and had him on the show. And he reads the Bible 3-4 times a day. He says it's like eating food. It's for nourishment. And I really loved his mindset, how he analogized what he reads. He reads it. He reads scriptures and so forth. But he used a phrase. Friction creates traction. You both have been through a lot of friction in your life, but somehow it also has currently it's created some traction for you guys. Mm-hmm. Look where you are now as a couple. Talk about how you two have come together. I want to talk about the recovery and how you came together. You had to have some private moments where you had some real serious discussions. You have to begin to trust and be honest with each other. How did that go?
Christy, field that one. I want you to field that one. You met on a dating app. You dated for a while.
We had dated for I think we started officially dating in November of 2020 or 2016. Few months had gone by. I didn't realize how bad into his addiction that his alcoholism was, and it started to create problems, not necessarily between us, but just I didn't want my kids to be around that, So probably 3 or 4 months after we had started dating, he was trying to go in and out of like outpatient treatment and stuff, and it just came to a point to where I was like, I can't do this with the kids. Mm-hmm. And so we had split, and then I don't know if you kind of want to take over because then it kind of circles back. But
yeah, at that time, I wasn't hiding it very well. I mean, it wasn't a secret. However, I was, it was getting worse and worse, and there was no way to control it. That's where I was in my life. It was just the drinking was uncontrollable, and unfortunately, that's what it usually gets to be for an alcoholic like me, where the choice in the matter was non-existent, no matter how great the positive influences are around you. I'm going to say that, our split and the relationship that we had didn't necessarily change my life. However, it got things going, and it put a little bit of an emotional appeal on my thought process, because I was just extremely selfish in everything I was doing. And by that, I mean, I was selfishly destroying my own life just because. I didn't really have a rock solid reason I could point to. And I think I was slowly catching on to the idea that I didn't have to live like that anymore. I know people that have gone through this and that have come out better on the other side. I just wasn't unsure, or I was unsure what to do, where to go first. And I ended up in drug and alcohol treatment at the Bridge here in town. And after that, I transitioned to a sober living house for a year. And in the meantime, we had started talking again. And haven't looked back at that lifestyle since. I stay actively involved in the program that I'm in, trying to help other people in the spot where I was at.
You know, I think if Ron Brown was here, I think he'd tell you that God played a part in this. It wasn't just by chance.
Everything.
Yeah,
How
everything.
did you guys hook back up again then?
We started talking just, kind of casually. He'd ask me how my day was, and he would, do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? And if there was something that I needed, or that if I asked for help, he was there. Like,
Well, I thought this was a cute story last night when you told me that you sometimes would feel a little jealousy.
he was helping out a female friend. And at that point, I was like, I have no feelings for him. He's a friend. And then he started saying, hey, I'm hanging out with this person. I'm going to help her, on her dad's do this at her parents' house and that and that. And then one day I was like, I think I feel a little jealous.
Yeah.
I was like, why do I feel jealous? I don't have feelings for him. Why am I feeling jealous? And then I just kind of started thinking back over the last few months, and I'm like, everything that he said he would do and help me with, he did. It wasn't empty promises or, empty gestures. Like, he was there and he stayed there and he helped me. And then I kind of started thinking, okay, well, maybe I still do have feelings for him.
Well, this question's for you both. Both of you found faith during your darkest moments. How did you discover God and church bring clarity and hope into your lives?
I'll start because this was the topic that was always been a little on the fringe for me. Growing up, I wasn't raised in the church. To be honest, the majority of my 25 years on earth were churches for weddings and funerals, and just wasn't raised heavily around it. I wasn't terribly against the idea. It just wasn't for me. I just paid no attention to it. And one of the biggest things that I noticed as my life started to change is that I wasn't, to the best of my ability, all my best decisions were getting me nowhere but worse. And the program I'm involved in helps you rely on and points out the existence of a power greater than yourself. And for me, that was God and Jesus Christ.
Well, and is this when you found Trinity Fitness?
That came a little bit afterwards. But it fit in the right place at the right time.
Well, let's go there a little bit,
Okay.
because Trinity Fitness is a big thing for you. I know, and a lot of people. It's a really amazing group. Who is Trinity Fitness and what's it all about?
Trinity Fitness is a gym that's on the north side of Lincoln over by Spikes Volleyball. We're a functional fitness gym. All the classes are led by experienced coaches. But the neatest part of the gym is they're a nonprofit corporation. All the trainers are volunteers, even though they're certified, and that helps us keep the price down. But the nicest part, it's a Christ-centered place of worship and workout. We start each workout with a devotional and a talk about something from Scripture. Then after the workout, sit down, cool down, and they take prayer and praise requests. So we get to kind of, express what's on our mind, ask for, help, kind of getting it out there, talking about it amongst other people that are of like mind. And it's really a synergistic place. I've never left there in a worse mood than I showed up.
How has it changed your life?
It's actually introduced me into the church we started going to. A lot of the members go to a Mercy City Church here in town. And I thought I fit in so well here at Trinity Fitness. And I like so much of everything they're doing. Let's go check out where a lot of them are going to church. And when we do have weekend time together, that's where we've kind of decided our church is here in Lincoln.
Well, I'm going to put you both on the spot. Christy, you've watched them evolve over the years from the darkest to the lightest light. What changes have you seen in JC?
Every step of his changes, I look at him and I just fall more in love. He has gone from someone that obviously struggled to someone that was there for me, and then eventually he became my husband. And then watching him step into a stepfather-ish role, because the kids are a little bit older, but he's always been there for the kids. He's always said, my kids. He's never said my stepkids or my wife's kids. He's always embraced them as his own. And then watching him step into the grandfather role,
Yeah, congratulations.
watching him try to interact with the baby is the greatest thing in the world, because he has no idea what he's doing.
That's the truth.
But the grandkids are the fun.
Yeah. And JC, what changes have you seen in Christy over the years?
There's been a lot of changes, and what's nice is we've changed together.
Mhm.
You know, we both kind of started it at some pretty decent lows that we were
Mhm.
talking about earlier. And as our life went on and as our relationship got closer, we've grown together. And some of the best things that I've seen from the outside looking in is the relationship that she has with her existing family, her dad, her mom, and then her step parents on both sides. As I've gotten to know them, we become, at least I've seen you become closer with your sisters, you know, your mom in that relationship.
Mhm.
She mentioned that she was raised by her dad and looked up to her dad a lot, and I've seen that relationship only get tighter and closer, even though there's some distance involved. So
How would you describe your two's relationship today?
Can we?
yeah,
Almost. It's phenomenal. I mean, we have great communication. We talk about everything. We don't argue. I don't even know if we've really had an argument in the 9 years we've been together. We've never yelled. We're very appreciative of each other. Even the small things, doing the dishes. Thanks for doing the dishes. Thanks for folding the clothes. Thanks for. I mean, the things that people take for granted in relationships, we subconsciously are automatically like, "Thank you." You know, I appreciate the effort you've done. You know, the thoughtfulness of just your everyday actions, and I think that's helped us be cognizant of, you know, what we each do for each other, how what we bring forward, and he picks up my slack and I can pick up his slack. And if there's issues with the kids getting older, sometimes there's financial issues like, do we help the kids with this? Do we not do that? You know, and we just talk about things and we have good conversations. And one of us is struggling, you know, we try to help pick them up and um, be that extra support for them.
JC, what do you think when you hear that?
it feels like I don't deserve that because it doesn't seem like I put that much effort into it. And it's just something that with our relationship as we progress and mature in that, we subconsciously wanted to be examples for our kids. We wanted to see, Bryce and Allison and Nevaeh look for significant others that to be treated the same way that, Christy and I treat each other at home.
Has it always been that way from the beginning? Because relationships are hard enough in and of themselves. But when you come in with baggage, with scars from the past that the other one wasn't involved with, having to navigate those things, do you have a formula that you can share of how you got through that?
I think his biggest thing with me was my distrust, my insecurities, and he has helped a lot with that. I think it's kind of been overwhelming at times with the issues that I've been in, with past relationships and the not feeling of worthiness, in that area. He's stepped up and has never made me feel less than or unworthy of. And I think in some contexts, he could probably say the same. Like he said, I'm not deserving. I feel the same way. I'm not deserving. I don't feel like this is something that I've ever felt like I would deserve. I mean,
well, what's your daily routines like? I mean, you work pretty difficult shifts.
I work weekend nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So what's the daily routine for each of you? How do you make this work?
Well, my daily routine, I got injured in a race last September 15th, and that's kind of thrown me off of what I specifically like to do every day for a routine. But as my foot started to heal, I've come back into that a little bit. And when she started taking the weekend program, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, 12-hour overnight shifts, and we just made a straight up family planning decision. We said, all right, Monday through Friday, I'll make sure that we pretty much have groceries. We have food cooked around the house, laundry's done, house is picked up, along with the girls helping us out. And then the weekends, she takes care of a lot of those things Monday through Friday. And then over the weekends, that Friday through Tuesday, I kind of take care of everything else that needs to be done because I know she needs to sleep on Monday when she gets off work. And so I work a full-time job and a part-time job. So my ideal routine starts at Trinity Fitness in the mornings at 6:15 a.m. I go straight from there to work. Sometimes I'm off at 2 in the afternoon. Sometimes I don't get home till 6 or 7 at night. So we just, we just pitch in where the other one needs help and is lacking. So that's been huge for us.
So you still have children at home?
We have
1.5.
Yeah. Our youngest, Nevaeh, she's 19. And then she has a friend that needed some housing. So we took her in and she's 20.
Do you feel today through the books you read, the routines you do, that you've changed, you turned your life around? Have you been able to be at peace, let the past go, focus on today, and hope for the future? How do you feel about that?
I'll be honest, I don't think I'm at peace at all. Even though on my inside, I'm always striving for something more, for something greater. And I don't take enough time, and this is what I'm told, is to look back at the accomplishments and how far I've actually gone. Because I'm always, looking not necessarily for the next best thing, but how can I improve what I already have? How can I make our relationship better, stronger? How can I bring value to my employer? How can I help the guys at the mission where I also work?
Well, you're very driven. I think you've always been very driven and focused. Well, with that, I see Harrison's house. We got to take another break. So we're going to take another break, and we'll finish up here with the final segment in just a moment. Thank you.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes. Feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Early break. All I can still picture is him talking to Bill Murray's son. And that was one of my, I could just see him. Hey, listen, your dad was awesome in stripes, but you need to shuddy. You need to shuddy.
Shut your mouth,
Shuddy.
Mr. Murray.
Yes, your dad was incredible. And what about Bob? Just stop.
I've never heard shuddy before.
Hey, I love groundhog.
I'm going with that now forever. I love
With Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodmen of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome in. Final segment. What's Next 24? Only got about 5 minutes left here, so I'll throw it over to the hosts, Mike and Sherry.
Thanks, Harrison, and welcome back, everybody, with our amazing guests, JC and Christy Massie. They've just had an incredible story to tell of hardship, of baggage, of addiction, but how they still were brought together by God. I truly believe by God brought you together. We're going to turn this over to JC. We had a little convo on the break, and I think he just has some really good things to say. And listen up, because I think you're going to be able to learn a lot from this.
Thanks for the introduction on that, Sherry. The entire reason that I'm on this radio show today is not because you asked, and it's not because I wanted to get exposure or fame, because that's the last thing that I really need or want out of this deal. Coming to you guys with this raw emotion and really honest look at my past, that a lot of people who've met me in the past 7 or 8 years have zero idea what I've gone through. But hopefully out there someone is listening that's at a low and sees some sort of inspiration in the fact that I look at myself as an ordinary person that had some ordinary person problems that I turned into big health and mental and physical issues. And I was able to overcome that. I was able, with the help of God, through the fellowship I'm in and good, solid people, that I didn't have to live like that anymore. And not only do I not live like that anymore, I am doing far better than I feel like I deserve. And that has to do a lot with the relationship with Christy and everything that we've gone through. Today, I was hoping that some sort of light may be turned on and somebody out there that's struggling, that just taking one more step. Ed Millett, the author and motivational speaker, says just one more day.
Mm-hmm.
Just do one more rep. Just make it one more day.
Mm-hmm.
Commit with your word one more time and see where that gets you. And that's really how I try to look at things anymore, is just do one more.
And it's like our book. What are you going to do in the next 24 hours to move forward?
Christy,
take those
you
steps?
said something real quick. I want to make sure you said, in terms of how this has all brought you together, all the pain, and how you work together. Share what you told me at break there.
About what?
Oh, just in terms, you really love each other now. You really,
Yeah.
for many reasons. But what were a few of those reasons that you said that today your life has changed because you're together?
Yes. 8 years ago, I never thought that I would find love, and I was okay with that. And today, together, we are financially stable. We are emotionally stable. We're extremely happy. There's just not a lot of negative in our lives, and through God and through the stuff that we've gone through in our past, it's made us appreciate what we have now. 5 years ago, we were still living paycheck to paycheck and didn't know how we were going to make ends meet. And today, I think we're more financially stable than most people that we know.
Well, I'll share this with you. I think what happened to me in my mindset was to change that. Everything that happened in the past was actually a lesson for who you are today. And what's made, if you didn't go through what you went through then, you wouldn't be the person you are today.
Yeah.
And that took me a long time to listen to that lesson. I know we'll be finishing up here in just a second. So Christy, I'm going to turn it over to you and put you on the spot, but you get to say anything you'd like to say to the community as we close out. What do you want the community to know?
I just I came on here because I've been a teen mom. I have a high school dropout two times. Never thought I would go to college. Never thought I'd be successful. Never thought I would have anything worth of value in my life. And if I can do it, it is possible for anyone to do it. You know, a single mom with 3 kids, and the drugs, you know, the issues and the bad relationships that I had, through God, I was able to overcome those, you know, and it's possible. You don't have to live in the cycle of poverty. You don't have to live, you know, repeating the same decisions. You know, there is options. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Where you're at now is not where you're always going to be.
Oh,
what legacy would you guys like to leave? What you hope to leave for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren?
An example of how people should treat each other.
Yeah.
And I think in our relationship that not only on the outside do we present what we feel is like a great example, but if you look behind the scenes and follow us, if there's hidden cameras in the house, you would see that we treat each other behind closed doors and together the same exact ways we treat each other in public. And for our kids and grandkids to set high standards for those that they choose to spend time with and people they associate with.
Awesome.
Well, I want to thank you both, JC and Christy, Massie. Through suffering, they found love. Through love, they found healing. Thank you today. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it again.
Harrison, thank you. For that, we'll see you next week. Thank you.